Who am I? So I call myself a pracademic, so I'm a practicing academic, and let me kind of give you a sense of what that means in the past. So if you ask me who am I would say I'm a sustainability business architect. So an architect is somebody who designs buildings. I don't design buildings, I design businesses. And obviously I do it with a view to social, environmental and economic sustainability. So for me that's what the word sustainability means. It's all three of those things, and it's an and between those. It's not a set of alternatives you can pick from. I have a company that's incorporated in Ontario. We're Flourishing Enterprise Designers, and we're a certified benefit corporation. So I don't know if you have heard of this movement. It's not yet. Michael and I are plotting to try and bring this to Sweden a little bit. There are already some Nordic countries that have this organisation in place, but it's 2,600 companies worldwide now that have been certified by an independent third party as reaching a minimum level of social, environmental and economic performance. So this is for-profit companies. It's a certification of the company, not the product. Some of the larger companies that have now got some of their business units certified include Unilever and Danone. There's lots of smaller companies like mine as well who have become certified. So it's very much a way for me to say to the world, look, it's not just me saying that I'm doing good to do well, it's actually a third party saying this as well. So I have about 30 years of experience designing, planning and managing change programs in larger organizations, usually from an information technology perspective. So I very much appreciate the technology angle. On the academic side, I'm an adjunct professor at the Ontario College of Art and Design. And you may be thinking, why on earth is somebody who's talking about business and sustainability in a College of Art and Design? And the reason for that is that business, in fact, is a design discipline. Often it's taught as an analytic discipline, right? We do everything on a spreadsheet, we run the numbers, and then we think we're making decisions based on the numbers. In fact, of course, business is all about reacting to change. It's how do we respond to that change, and that is in fact design. When you encounter a new situation, you have to imagine how you need to react, and then you plan that out. Well, that's design. It's nothing to do with analysis. As much, it's not so much to do with analysis. So at the Faculty of Design at OCAD, although there are people who design, tables, coffee mugs, buildings, landscapes, more than half of the faculty there is using the techniques of design to design anything that is not a thing. So policy, procedure, conversations, and of course business models. So these are all things you can design, but they're not real things, if you like, they're models. I'm also an industry partner with their Strategic Innovation Lab. As of yesterday, I'm very happy to announce that I'm also an adjunct prof here at Halmstad in the Department of Innovation Management and the Centre for Entrepreneurship, Innovation and Learning. Moving on to getting more specific now, there is a technical artifact that sits underneath the canvas, which I never show anybody, but this is the original graduate work that I did, and it's called the Strongly Sustainable Business Model Ontology. So this is a peer-reviewed artifact. That paper is getting increasingly well cited, and some people have told me now that I see it as a foundational paper now for the field, which we'll see whether that works out in practice, but that's what I've been told. And from this, myself and a number of colleagues around the world are building what we're calling the Flourishing Enterprise Innovation Toolkit, where the Flourishing Business Canvas is the core tool in that toolkit. It also has a strategy design method in it. It will also has a startup design method in it, maybe a product design method in it as well. We're still working that out, and we hope to publish a book around this, crowdfunded with a community of people like Professor Hofskog and Michael. We've got 160 of them around the world now. We're going to be crowdfunding that a book, which we'll publish in 2020 is the current plan. I'm also a co-founder of a bigger community about strongly sustainable business models. So strong sustainability is a term that the ecological economists have come up with. So ecological economists are people who are economists, but they understand the economy inside the society, inside the environment, and they actually come up with their economic theories with full respect for both the social sciences and the natural sciences, which of course most economists don't do. They just think about firms and households and pretend that there's nothing containing them. So the Strongly Sustainable Business Model Group, if you like, is a microeconomic view. So how does business models work if you imagine you've got the firm in the economy, in society, in the environment as a nest. And you'll see that we have this on the Flourishing Business Canvas. So this group, we have 6 projects going on, of which the canvas is just one. We have a project on measurement, we have a project on case studies around the SDGs globally. We have a project on reporting and accounting processes. We have one for startups. So we have a range of projects. Oh, and one also on how do you help existing companies transition to and evolve their business. So this is a community of innovation practice. This is about 1/3 academics, researchers, 1/3 practitioners, and about 1/3 graduate students, approximately. And there's 1,450 people in this group. We have a monthly meeting. We've been going for about 5 years. We record all the meetings. All the information is publicly available, so to mobilise the knowledge, help people actually use it. I'm also the co-founder of a cooperative, which will be, from what I'm beginning to learn, perhaps one of the first global cooperatives. This will be the organisation that publishes the toolkit, and this will be owned by all the people using it. So this is the idea that we want to ensure that the people using it have some control over it and also can benefit from it economically, which we hope creates a feedback loop that allows us to scale its impact. I'm also involved in starting a company that's focused on helping people like High Five put on programming for entrepreneurs around all of this type of thinking, and another company that's also doing the same type of thing but with established businesses, because although a lot of the concepts are the same, the language, the approach with an existing business and a startup are in practice quite different from one another. So that's a little bit about me. This is the course that I helped design at Halmstad and just come for the final event in the last couple of days. And so basically what we're trying to do here is integrate, as I said, product and business model enterprise co-creation. So there's a whole part on knowledge and understanding, a whole part on skills and abilities, and then a whole part on approach. So I won't go into that in much more detail. These are the organisations who have funded a lot of the components of the course and provided other information. And very quickly, and I should probably only put this up for half a second, these are the 5 products that the Loop Factory has put up, so I will respect their request not to show that for too long in public since we're broadcasting. So the students, we had 5 student groups. They took one of those products each and understood that product and a lot of the chemistry around the product and how you can manufacture it, and then they were designing business models. And as we saw yesterday when we presented to some flourishing dragons their 2030 business models, they came up with some very inventive solutions and ideas about how to integrate technology with those products, whether to focus on a business model that was related to just manufacturing the product and selling it, or whether it was to do with a service built on top of that product, and there were quite a lot of loop closing ideas that came out through the business model process. So really quite exciting possibilities.